So we are 9 weeks out now, so we're going to go through sort of like my morning routine today of things like the cardio. We'll discuss that, foods that I've been eating and what I do eat on a daily basis. But the first thing I've got to do before I do anything else is get myself a coffee made. My regular choice of coffee is like a flat white. But as we've got closer and closer to the show, or shows now as it's going, but it's becoming smaller, so it's a single shot with full fat milk and very little full fat milk. So we're trying to keep the pleasures in life as much as possible, even as though we go into the grueling aspects of life as a competitive bodybuilder. So I do a tiny version of the flat white I truly love. That's what I go for. Okay, so sometimes they call it like a cortado. But that will just give me just enough of a kick. Before I've come here today, this morning, I've already had something to eat. I get up and first thing I'll do is I'll drink a couple of pints of water. The first one has ashwagandha and ginseng. I have that with those. So before anything's in my stomach, those tablets both go in. Then I'll eat exactly 4 prunes. Okay, so 4 prunes will come out of a tin like this at home, and 1 spoonful of this very, very high protein, sort of like a yogurt mix. Yeah, 200 grams, there's 26 grams of protein in there, okay? So just 1 spoonful of that, like a heaped tablespoonful. Okay, and that would be me away for the day before I get here or before I start training myself. What I've started doing in these last few weeks is getting here early to Hereford and going for a run around the city. So I get here, park the car up, don't even walk in the gym, just park up and go for a run straight around the city. All right, so that's getting my cardio in because, like I've said previously, I don't really like the cardio side of bodybuilding at all. Being an ex-competitive cyclist and things like that, obviously I'm a very cardiovascular person, so I've raced hundreds of miles and things like that for days on end. So I do know what it's like to dip into that side of things. But the cardio style of bodybuilding, so that I see people on the Stairmaster and things like that, I don't like that. I prefer to be outside as much as possible. So I walk my dog to death and I run and things like that, rather than getting in the gym. For me, the gym is where I build my physique, not where I trim it down. And I think that balance of doing stuff outside of the gym helps me a lot to cope with these weeks. Okay, so yeah, we got the coffee. Now then, these are the secrets, I believe, to the secrets of the success. So I make myself then an oat mix, okay? So this would be, after I've come back in, after that first bit of cardio, if I was gonna go straight into a training session, this is basically my main source of carbohydrates for the day. Now then, I don't weigh stuff at all, but basically there's one protein scoop of oats in there, and then the seeds, chia seeds, and different sorts of seeds I throw in on top. They get soaked in water overnight, and then I add some more of that yogurt, a scoop of that on the top. That's what that is on the top, making it all nice and white and thick. And that would be, like I said, my pre-workout sort of meal, going with the coffee, and away we'd go. Now then, as the day goes on, I have, depending on how busy I am here at the gym, I have about 3 of these a day. Today I've only brought the 1. In there is a white fish. That's just been gone through the air fryer, and then just a very simple salad. So lettuce leaves, cucumber, and red onion. That's all that's in there. There's no dressings, there's no nothing. It's just as plain as it is. I will add sea salt, and I will also add a squirt of lemon juice onto that, just so that it gives a bit of flavour to the fish. Just bring it out a little bit. Right, the frills of food, so the things that can excite me over these next 9 weeks are things like this. All right, so there's a 90% dark chocolate, 90% cocoa, dark chocolate. Normally that would be the worst thing I'd ever taste in my life. Those, you know, the thing I stay away from. I'm a typical Galaxy dairy milk kind of guy, really, at heart. But this, just broken up through the day, just helps me get through. When I need something to give me a bit of a lift, I reach for one of these dark chocolate bars, and that literally is it. That's the size of it. So there's my hand, there's the dark chocolate. You know, we are looking at that amount. One of the subjects that bodybuilders won't discuss, and it's sort of kept under wraps. As we get closer and closer to the competitions, our bodies shut down, okay? Our systems shut down because we're used to having a certain amount of foods flying in and out of the body, you know, and we have this regular cycle. Like me, I'm a regular two a day. You know, I'll go to the toilet twice a day, first thing in the morning and again in the afternoon, right? So, but as I go through this process and things shut down, then also that system shuts down also, okay? So that's why the prunes come in. They will help keep me regular. But sometimes you'll just feel this, well, basically a constipation. So you start to feel unhappy because you're being constipated. You're not getting rid of the waste because basically you haven't built up enough waste for it to be required to happen naturally. But you do have waste and toxins that have to fly out of your body. What I found works for me is if I start to feel that sort of mental drag of everything's backing up basically in the system, I reach for these. These sweets, I get mine from, Aldi supermarket. It comes with the health warning on the back. If you eat too many of these too quickly, you are gonna use the toilet very, very quickly. Now then, so I devour the whole box. I don't mess around. I go one after another, and I eat every single sweet in this box. And I will guarantee that within 30 minutes of eating these sweets, the whole world will evacuate me. And that's how I then get myself back into flushed out mode, and I'm a much happier person, much more energetic the next day, because that energy just gets drawn out of me when I'm not regular. So those are the sort of unspoke about subjects, but I think this is important because, you know, we do have to get rid of waste out of our body because, again, health is far more important to me than the physique that comes out in that body. And if I'm building up with toxins, then those toxins are starting to overload into my system, and they should have gone a long time ago. Okay, so even though I'm eating little, there's still stuff that needs to come out. So that's me. That's how I eat through this system. It's never changes. It hasn't changed now for about the last 5 weeks. I haven't altered. It's been white fish, or it's been skinless chicken, or it's been eggs and egg whites. Nothing other than that. When I'm making my egg white omelette and things like that, to make it interesting, I'll use perhaps a sugar-free tomato sauce, just to bring a bit of colour to it, just to bring a bit of flavour when it unfolds and things like that. Those are the sort of things that go in. Still, masses and masses of sea salt and black pepper go into that. All right, on the supplement side of things, in this bottle, so I'll have put in there, this is what I take into the gym with me. I'll have my daily scoop of creatine and my scoop of BCAAs. They go together quite nicely. The BCAAs brings a bit of flavour because the creatine's quite chalky and things like that, so I don't particularly like it. Obviously it doesn't taste too good, so it's just like chalky water. So the BCAAs help that out, and they're giving me that extra bit in there as well. Right, so we're going to look at how high, you know, normally after a training session, first thing that comforts me is a protein shake. So how I make mine even better in my mind is straight away, I've got liquid egg whites. So rather than just using water, first thing that goes in is liquid egg whites. Now then, most people tend to walk away from me at this stage straight away, okay? So the measurement is in there. That's 8 ounces of egg whites. I'll top that up with water. Okay, and then I add my chocolate protein powder. If I'm ever buying protein powder, it's chocolate. I stick with chocolate, and that then ticks that box of the need for chocolate as well. Now we get to see what that thick, high protein yogurt really looks like. Okay, so it really is a good, solid, there's no fluidity in it at all. Okay. So we'll have a couple of scoops of that.
How many grams of protein do you reckon?
Lots.
Just lots?
Lots. Yeah, I don't measure. I try not to measure. Most people ask me about calories and things like that. I don't count calories. I don't believe in calories at all, because I know calories are equal. I put ice in this. If you want a successful protein shake, you need ice. Okay, we're very fortunate here with the ice machine. And then now, this could get noisy, but I blend it very, very slow, so it's smooth. The hardest bit of this is going to be walking away from it and not drinking it yet. Because at the moment, I'm here talking, and I've had those 4, can't even hold up 4 fingers, 4 prunes. So yeah, that would be it. And that'll be lovely and lovely, thick and tasty. So today we're going to go through my poses. This is completely flat. Obviously, we just like we discussed earlier, 4 prunes, not even prawns. Right, okay. So I'm focusing on the legs. So what Darren's got me to do here is really focus legs up, because obviously the judges are down on the floor. So I'm trying to bring in this area here. And this is the front relaxed. Not really very relaxed at all, but we have to hold this pose when we're at the back of the stage, waiting for our turn. And depending on what the judges are doing, they might hold us in this position quite a while. Okay, and then they would always do quarter turns to the right. So I'm spinning round. Okay, now that how they're feeling, they might shuffle us up and down the stage at this time so we can do some comparisons next to each other. But now I'm going to go into the mandatory poses. They're always in the same sequence. So the first one is a front double bicep. And what I've failed on doing before is holding on to my legs during this stage. So I'm trying extra hard to keep the legs fired on. And we're going to get the front lat spread. Then they give us a choice. We can go to side of our choice for a chest pose. Okay, and then we face back of the stage and we spike a calf, and it'll be a rear bicep. And still facing the back of the stage, lat pose. And then again, we move to side of our choice for a tricep. And then abs and thigh. And then a most muscular. With the abs side of things, I'm very fortunate. Through my, my weekdays, I'll end up doing abs with about 3 or 4 different clients. So in my own routines, I rarely do ab workout. I'll only do it if I feel, there's been a cancellation or something like that, or just on days like today, we're on a Sunday, we just need to get a bit done. So I'll do abs every single day, but nothing too excessive. The abs are either there by now or not. I use these Swiss balls, I call them, but some people call them physio balls and things like that, because they create lovely curves into the back. They make me balance. There's things you can do straight away, like balance on the ball. So straight away my feet are off the floor. So this will work all on my core. It's quite nice. I'll do it while watching the television at home. I've got one at home. Then what I'll do is I'll roll down on the ball. This is when I don't want to fall off, obviously on camera, but I'm trying to get the pressure point through my belly button. Okay, that's the most central and most important part of the abdominals for me. So now I bring my chin onto my chest and I've breathed out. So there's very little now air in the lower portion of my lungs. So, and then all I'll do is on and off, pushing the belly button into the ball, which is then folding me up. And the tension here on my abdominals is absolutely excruciating. And I force the folding point to be on the belly button. Everything comes good. And then what I can do with that is then create it into a twist. So I'll come up and then I'll get a fold down the side and then the other way. Okay, so another way to work the abdominals, which I work on with the ball, is holding me. So locking me in. So from this position here, I'll click my heels together. That engages the lower portion of my body. So now my glutes are engaged, hamstrings, lower back there. Then I just hold the ball out in front and roll it away and make this area, the belly button there in the court, hold me. So I've drawn the belly button right in tight and I'll just stay there. Now then, we've just seen the poses that I go through on the stage where you've got to be able to hold a position for a longer amount of time. You've got to withstand cramps, things like that. Here's great practice for that. Well, I do a plank. All right, so I'll go here, hold the plank, but I'm really intensifying it by pulling the belly button up. This is me doing a relaxed plank, everything's under control. But now if I pull everything up, I can make it hurt. And then if I lift a foot up, it becomes even harder. And like I said, the belly button is the key here. Here's my belly button being pulled right up tight. Again, from plank position. You know what? The best male exercise, I believe, is a press up. Okay, so again, upper plank there. I can go to a shoulder tap. And again, it's all belly button, initiating all of this. But all of those things will transfer over to me being on stage. My way of doing this is to hang and then push the feet back. So I've got very little contact point with the ball, and then bring up to there. And then push under, and then come up. Because again, we've just seen with the size of these trunks, the hip flexor is a muscle that gets seen. So here is one of the exercises that I do a lot with clients who have lower back issues and things like that. So we'll learn how to brace. So I'm holding myself there on the cable and I try and keep my lower body facing forward as I twist around on the top. Now again, what this does is brings great striations down the side of the body. Okay, so I'll do number that way, and then I now place myself side on. So now the pull is all the way through the floor, and I'm trying to hold myself straight, because I'll want to tilt in and then just stay there. Lock in with the belly button and then just in and out. And then do a twist. Okay, and then simply just go the other way. What I'll be doing with those in particular is as I get closer to the competition, I have to be aware not to thicken this side of my body, you know, the outsides, because then I'll lose that X shape. My delts are as wide as they're ever gonna be. Realistically, all I can do is make them show more. So I can't get any more width anywhere, so I can't afford to create width here. If I do, then I'm gonna have to twist my body a little bit to narrow myself off. There will be ways of covering things, but that's what we'll be playing with.